everyone. So, before the episode begins, I want to give you a bit of a content warning. This episode on the fifth element will dive deep into some child sexual abuse accusations, and if any of that is too uncomfortable or triggering for anybody, then go ahead and turn the episode off. But if that isn't triggering for you and you can stomach that type of material in your podcast, then enter at your own will. On a bit of a lighter note, for those of you who are still here, next week we will not have a new episode of the show. We will instead feature the premiere episode of the Happiest Cast on Earth spin-off Mooncasting, a DreamWorks podcast. For those of you that would like more detail about it, on the YouTube channel, there is a dedicated trailer for this show, and the premiere episode that will premiere on this YouTube channel and on its own podcast page next week will include a brief description on what the show itself will be. And if you would like to figure out what that episode will be on, then you're going to have to stay tuned to the end of this episode. But for now, on with the episode.
Every 5,000 years.
Remove the shield.
When the three planets are in eclipse, the black hole like a door is open. Evil comes, spreading terror and chaos.
There's nothing that can stop this.
There is only one thing.
Perfect.
The Mondachiwan have in their possession the only weapon to defeat evil. 4 elements, gathered around a fifth.
Hello.
Corbin, sweetheart. You got broken fingers, you can't punch my number?
Hi, Mom.
Welcome on. Have a nice day.
Major Dallas, you're selected for a mission of the utmost importance.
What mission?
Save the world.
Is that thing solid?
Unbreakable.
Good.
Where are the stones?
I don't know. And even if I did know, I wouldn't tell somebody like you.
There's nowhere else to go.
Who in God's name would do such a thing?
Hang on.
Beautiful people, and welcome back to another episode of the Happiest Cast on Earth, the show where we review anything and everything that was somehow released by the Walt Disney Corporation. I am your host, as always, Ryan Johnson. Joining me today, guest is a little late yet again, so hopefully they show up. Hopefully they're safe and sound and that they're not in trouble or anything like that. But anyways, this is actually a very, very, very special broadcast over here, very special episode, because this is the final episode of the show that will be on the radio, which It's going to be a very, very sad time. We've done about like 20, 25 of these, probably close to 30 of these on the air, even more so online. And it's a little sad to have this era come to an end. But don't worry, dear listeners. You can still continue to listen to new episodes on YouTube and Spotify every single week. So if you still want some more Happiest Cast on Earth action, then look no further than the YouTube channel and the Spotify pages for Happiest Cast on Earth. I don't know why I said, like, plural Spotify pages. That's if there's more than one. But enough of, like, the sappy, like, sentimental things. Let's go ahead and get into the meat and potatoes of this individual episode right over here. And this week, we are discussing a very interesting movie for, I don't know if it would be the right reasons today, but nonetheless, it's still an interesting movie to talk about. That being the late 90s science fiction classic, The Fifth Element, which was in fact released by Disney internationally. They did not release this movie here in the States. That was Columbia Pictures. Although they didn't produce this film, it was, I believe, a French company. So, do with that what you will. Yeah, and this movie has been regarded as a classic for many people in the science fiction and just general moviegoer fandom. However, something that this movie is also a little bit infamous for is who in fact directed the movie. That being a Mr. Luc Besson. Now, for those of you who are unaware, Luc Besson is a filmmaker who had been making movies for a good number of years up to this point. He had previously directed Leon the Professional, which was also released internationally by Disney, so we may get that movie soon. But his movies are not exactly what he is best known for these days, rather being a notorious sexual predator towards minors. Oh boy, it's one of those movies, isn't it? I just keep getting late 90s semi-Disney movies with interesting, to say the least, directors to talk about, somewhat infamous, you may say, or incredibly infamous in the case of Mr. Luc Besson. He's had multiple cases of this type of stuff come out against him, and one notorious example that I will mention because it is kind of relevant is during the filming of another movie that we just talked about, Leon the Professional. He originally intended for there to be a love scene between the main male character and a then like 10 or 11-year-old Natalie Portman. The lead was like in his 40s, and he was very obviously like, yeah, I'm not filming that scene. And it didn't end up in the movie, and they never even shot it, thankfully. But that's just a prime example. And the horrible thing that he's still making movies. Just this year, he made a new Dracula movie, which got critically panned by just about everybody. And I think a large part of that is because of who's directing it. Luc Besson. And I think, like, correct me if I'm wrong, I think the only reason he's not in prison is because he currently lives overseas. Where if he came to America, he'd get arrested. That's why he hasn't really directed anything mainstream in a long time. It's also the same case with Roman Polanski and it looks like now we're having the same case with Bryan Singer, who apparently is making a new movie this year. A movie that doesn't even have a Wikipedia page. I think it's called Monument, or something like that. But yeah, it's kind of gross that these directors keep making movies, even though, despite of everything that they've done, and it's just gross, and it's kind of, I guess you could say, a little bit uncomfortable with the amount of ones that qualify for this radio show. I mean, I forget his name, but the Jeepers Creepers movies, at least the first two, were also released internationally by Disney. So, and those were after the stuff about the director came out. So, the fact that he's still making movies, it's just disgusting. But we don't have to talk about that anymore, because that's just a big issue all around. Let's instead try to judge The Fifth Element as objectively and as fair as possible. And I will admit that it's easier said than done, because I have to confess, there are some elements in this movie that are worse, or you start to question a little bit once you know the director's background. So, take all of that information with what you will. So, The Fifth Element, classic sci-fi film from the late 90s. I mistakenly called it a cult classic last week. I do want to apologize, because this is actually a bona fide classic. It was a massive hit when it came out, making over $200 million on a budget of $60 million, which pretty big hit if you ask me. Has big stars like Bruce Willis, Gary Oldman, and Chris Tucker, and it was pretty well received at the time. Of course, it was before what we knew about Luc Besson, but I had never seen this movie before. I didn't even know what it was about until doing this episode. I knew it just in general pop culture knowledge that there was a movie called The Fifth Element, and that people seemed to really enjoy it. And over the last year or two, I learned that the director of The Fifth Element, along with Leon the Professional and this new Dracula movie that came out, is a horrible, horrible person and who needs to be in jail right now. But yeah, I've never seen the movie up until a day or two ago, and guys, I have to admit, again, ignoring everything that the director had done, because I went to this movie just judging the movie on its own, I think the film is a little bit overrated. Yeah, this is probably going to be my most unpopular and hottest take I have ever done on this show so far, which is very fitting because this will be the final episode on the radio. But I think I will dive deeper into why I think this movie is kind of overrated right after this quick little break. So please stay tuned for that.
You're listening to WVCU 97.7 LPFM, Athens, West Virginia.
When you're trying to look up research for that paper or assignment you're trying to do, or you just need a quiet place to go to, there's one amazing place here on campus you can go: our library. Our library will help you out with almost anything. If you need a book that you can't find there, they'll order it for you. Also, if you need something, they will always stop what they're doing and help you. You are not alone in your endeavor of education. You have Concord's Library. This has been a public service announcement from WVCU.
And now, our feature presentation.
So I didn't realize that I wasn't recording the video until like halfway through that last song, so my apologies, video watchers, for not seeing my beautiful, beautiful face. But anyways, welcome back to the show, everybody. Okay. Let's go ahead and just dive right into this movie. So, lo and behold, this science fiction movie begins in space. Who would have guessed? But I can definitely tell you that I was not expecting this movie to start in ancient Egypt. Yeah, although not really ancient Egypt. It's not ancient Egypt at all. It's just Egypt at the turn of the 20th century. We see this priest. He's digging up some old artifacts. And the priest isn't digging up anything. It's this old explorer. He's digging up some old stuff. He's got this kid who's drawing there, and a priest there. And basically, he's digging up old artifacts, and he finds something that looks like it's from another world. And this gets the priest going, and lo and behold, a big old spaceship. Which, oh my god, guys, it's Trey Wilson. It's Trey Wilson, the one and only.
Hello.
Holy crap, guys, this is a shocker. He was supposed to be here 22 minutes ago.
I'm sorry, I got right off the road.
Oh, what mic are you even using right now?
I don't even know.
What mic are you on?
Mic 3.
Mic 3, okay. Okay, maybe turn you up there.
Alright, man, alright.
There we are. So, Trey, I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of the video right now, because I don't want to keep up with it. So, Trey, we were just talking about the Fifth Element.
Ooh, the Fifth Element.
Yeah, it's the Fifth Element. I asked this at the beginning of the show, which is about 20-some minutes ago, but for the sake of tradition, what is your prior experience with the Fifth Element?
Actually, this is one that I have seen before, but when I was younger, my parents actually watched it with me.
Right. Did you like it?
From what I remembered back then, I didn't hate it. No.
All right. Well, I think younger you and me now may disagree a little bit.
Yeah.
Because, to be 100% honest with you, Trey, I think this movie's kind of overrated.
Definitely rewatching it,
Mm-hmm.
I'd have to agree.
Yes, it's not the very best of films. We were just talking about the beginning of the scenes in good old Egypt when the aliens show up. Which, definitely, I mean, I was expecting the aliens, obviously, but didn't really think this movie would start off in ancient Egypt, where we find out that, lo and behold, there is a fifth element, and these aliens have basically instructed this priest to like guard it and make sure it's safe, and to like continue to like pass on the information to priests, going forward to like 300 years even.
Yeah. No, I was not.
A little bit of a time jump, don't you think?
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. And it's nice to know that so much has just stayed exactly the same, because space is basically the Navy. Everybody's just dressed like the Navy. And if they work for like government officials. They're just the Navy.
Just Navy.
That's just what everybody dresses like. Speaking of the Navy, that one like officer in charge, the one guy who keeps showing up, he looks so much like James Cameron.
Oh my god, I thought I was the only one who thought that.
He looks so much like James Cameron to the point where I had to look it up and see if it was actually him. It was not.
No.
I still don't know who it was.
I don't know either, but I was watching it with my girlfriend and she was like, we were both like, is that it? We were so confused on it.
Yeah, it's like he looked almost exactly like James Cameron, which this movie has enough problematic directors. I don't need another one. So yeah, we talked more about this movie's director in the little beginning of the episode. So we don't really need to discuss it any further, just to get your reaction. But at this point in the movie, we'll go ahead and we get introduced to the new priest, who is just dressed like Obi-Wan. He's just Obi-Wan.
Literally what I said. I literally said that when he went on screen. I was like, is that Obi-Wan Kenobi?
Hello there. It's me, Mr. Kenobi. And there's this fifth element. That's pretty much, I mean, narratively, that's pretty much what he is. He's the Obi-Wan Kenobi of this movie, the older, like, mentor type figure who knows way more about this than our main character.
Yeah.
So, which, I guess speaking of our main character, we get introduced to Bruce Willis, who plays the character. What was his name? Like,
I don't know why I'm blanking on his name.
He was Bruce Willis. I just saw him as Bruce Willis the whole time, which, yeah. I mean, I guess there's nothing wrong with that unless you're a bad actor. But I'm not to say Bruce Willis is a bad actor. He's just Bruce Willis.
It's just Bruce Willis.
Yeah, that's Bruce Willis. We're flying a taxi. That's what Bruce Willis does in this movie. So Bruce Willis is this futuristic taxi driver who's down on his luck. He has a really crappy apartment, but it's the future, so everything still looks kind of nice. Which I'd want to briefly touch on this little future. On this future. This future, as Squidward would say it. This looks like, it just looks like every other future I've ever seen at the time.
Yeah.
Like, it just looks like Blade Runner, but it looks like if Blade Runner was in Independence Day, if that makes any sense.
Actually, yeah, that does. Yeah, hold on. I didn't put that together, but
that's pretty much what this future looks like. I get specifically like on Earth.
Yeah.
And everything else just looks like the Phantom Menace. So it's either that or the Phantom Menace, and I don't really want to be reminded of either of the two.
No.
While I'm sitting here.
Yeah.
It is especially noticed within like some of the abundance of CGI, which, science fiction movie in the late 90s. Of course, there's going to be some CGI elements.
Yeah.
But, dear Lord, the CGI in this movie does not hold up at all. It's some of this, again, either looks like it came straight out of the Phantom Menace or a friggin' Nickelodeon show from the era.
Oh, not the... I knew I was getting a hint of that.
I'm downright serious when I say that this is probably some of the worst CG from that era, ever. I think even for the time, this was bad CGI.
Honestly, yeah. A lot of the movies actually had some good CGI back then.
I feel like I'm going to get a lot of hate for this. I'm going to get a lot of schlock.
Oh, no.
The 98 Godzilla had better CGI than the Fifth Element. It was just a big, at least it was just a big stupid monster.
Yeah.
This is the whole movie. Because it's in the future.
True.
Speaking of the future, we find this fifth element. We see this fifth element who was sent down from the higher beings, personified into Libu. This who's a beautiful lady. This beautiful lady.
Very beautiful.
And basically, like, she's the MacGuffin, and they want to, like, and the bad guys want to get their hands on her. Wow, that came out wrong. But
a little bit, but
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
To unite all of the elements to destroy and take over the world and all that type of stuff. Typical bad guy things. Which I think the character of Libu is made extraordinarily worse because of what we know about the director. And here's the thing, like, as I mentioned in the intro, I tried going into this movie with as open as a mind as possible, just like trying to like ignore like what was going on with the director and all the crap he's done. But like every now and then there would be something weird happening, and then you just can't help but think, oh yeah, Luc Besson directed this. And yeah, Libu's character being this beautiful woman in somewhat revealing clothing throughout the entire movie, speaking in either gibberish or broken English, where she's kind of even personified for a large part as a helpless child in a way.
Yeah.
And the fact that Bruce Willis falls immediately in love with her, like the moment he sees her. Like, I think the part that really got me was like when she was like knocked out, and like his very first instance was to kiss her, which like in a normal movie it'd be like passed off as like either like something romantic or like a quick little gag, be like, hey, why'd you do that, or something like that. But because of who the director is, I don't know. I just think it's icky.
It is a little, no, not even a little icky. It's ugh.
Again, this is why I always say that like going into art, like context is very important. Like of what was going on at the time and who made it. Yeah. So, and this movie is filled with tropes. None of them were really very created for the film.
No.
But because of who is doing it and what we know about them now, not the funnest.
You just get a little more context clues nowadays.
Yup. I think it's like the same thing with like when people look back at all of like Dan Schneider's old stuff and notice all the feet stuff, all the feet stuff, and like even if like the initial like intent for everyone else wasn't malicious and nobody really thought about it at the time, you can't help but wonder.
Cannot help but wonder, no.
But yeah, this whole time, back to like the movie itself, the whole thing is like them just like trying to get this woman because she is like the fifth element, and also trying to find the plates to rep for the other elements so that she can save the world from Gary Oldman, who wants to do that to take over and destroy the world.
Not Gary Oldman.
Yep,
no.
Gary Oldman. And at this age, he definitely puts his last name to good use. Gary Oldman, I actually kind of like that he was Southern for some reason.
That was an interesting twist on me for a minute there.
Yeah. He could have like put on a different accent, but like it's in this like futuristic setting that mainly takes place in New York. He's Southern, so I guess that's good.
I mean, heck.
All right, so that's basically the why of like what's going on with this movie, and we're actually going to go ahead and take a quick little break. We're going to discuss some of the other beats of this movie, namely some music and some more performances. But so stay tuned for that, dear listeners.
It's fun to listen to WBCU. It's fun to listen to WBCU. Just tune in to 97.7 FM any time of the day or night. You're listening to WBCU.
Alrighty, everybody, welcome back to the show.
Yeah.
Ew, what was that?
I don't even know.
Okay, so the bad guys find them, and the bad guys try and take them down. Bad guys, they didn't win. They did not win. And at this point, the government, the U.S. government, appoints Bruce Willis to help them. Which, I think it was the priest that was like, "This is my mission."
I think so, yeah.
But Bruce Willis is like, "No, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this, but not just to save the world, but because I think that this ancient alien lady is really hot." There's an ancient alien lady who doesn't even speak a known language. I think that she's hot.
Yeah.
Even though it comes out of nowhere, and like her feelings towards him just come out of nowhere too.
That's
the romance like does not fully like blossom at all.
No.
Like it does not. But he likes her. That's literally all that matters in a romance.
Apparently. Especially with the director. Wait, what?
What? Wait. What about the director? What did the director do?
Oh, a few things.
A couple things, but anyways.
There's a little catchy tune to it, though.
Yeah. Oh, why am I squeaking my chair? Anyways. So they go on a plane. They try to go on a plane, which basically just a spaceship. And the bad guys of this alien race, they have these shape-shifting abilities. They try to like impersonate Bruce Willis because he's the one who's supposed to be on that plane, but does not go successful for them.
Uh-oh.
So they just blow up a plane. They just blow one up. They're like, there you go. It's also at this point in the movie where we are properly introduced to Chris Tucker as Rudy Road. Yeah. Guys, why did we ever make Chris Tucker a thing?
I don't know.
His whole joke is just screaming. Like when he's supposed to be like funny, that's all he does. Granted, I haven't seen a whole lot of Chris Tucker, and the last movie I saw with Chris Tucker, and it was actually a movie for this very show a couple weeks ago, where we talked about Jackie Brown, where he had a small little cameo in there, and he was funny, but he wasn't obnoxious like he was in this.
Yeah.
And this actually came out the same year as Jackie Brown, if I'm not mistaken, 1997. So, big year for Disney movies all over the world. But, dear God, I could not stand him in this movie. And he wasn't in it for very long, only really the last third, but
yeah,
he was just so obnoxious. Every time he was screaming or going, every time I'm like, dude, shut up.
At some point I got to the point where I wanted to just punch my TV.
Yeah, like can somebody just adjust the pitch down of you, like, please? Like, just please.
Probably would have helped.
Like, oh. And I think it's the voice that gets me.
I think so.
Because, like, I feel like if his voice wasn't so, like, over the top, like, cartoony, I would tolerate his performance more.
Yeah.
But I just wasn't impressed. Speaking of things I wasn't really impressed by, I want to go ahead and translate over to the costume design because this is a perfect translation. So yeah, Chris Tucker, he's like this like a media personality. He has like this show where like he goes like live for 2 hours straight through like just a little microphone. Is the future, whatever. And through that, we see him wearing these very interesting outfits. There's also, and like we're at this gala that's on this cruise ship in the sky, and we do see a great example on how this movie's costume design can't decide if it wants to stay futuristic or not. Because, thank you, we all heard that.
Sorry, I tried to muffle myself.
Yeah, but yeah, the movie's costume design it's a mix between contemporary for 1997 and standard futuristic. In fact, that's also a good example for the movie as a whole.
Yeah.
Because while there are definitely tons of like spaceships and flying cars and all that type of other futuristic things, we see the priest's apartment, and it's just a normal crappy rundown apartment. Like, at least like a movie apartment.
Yeah, standard movie crappy apartments.
And the element, like Lebu, she's on a computer, and it's just a box computer. It is just a standard old computer from 1997, which, glad to know that like 300 years from now, computers never evolve, or in fact they devolve to what 1997 was doing.
They just keep getting worse, apparently.
Yeah. Well, I guess. I mean, have you seen the new iPhones? I mean,
yeah, good point.
but like, yeah, this movie is like on the flip side of like what belongs in their futuristic society or not, because apparently, even though every other sci-fi story has done it up to that point, computers never evolve.
No.
So the reason Chris Tucker is here is because he's helping them out. He was appointed by the government to like help them out with trying to locate this diva who knows where these stones are. And
Infinity Stones?
No. And my guy. They get Bruce Willis. He gets the bright idea to leave Lebu in like a hotel room, and just leave her abandoned. Nobody else is watching her. So naturally, the bad guys approach her. The bad guys get to her, and eventually they reach the gala. And it's at this point, like, I do want to talk about this gala. Yeah. I've never expected just a day in my life to see an alien singing opera. Like a full-blown, like, Star Wars-looking alien that sings opera. But which, you know, is a very lovely moment.
Oh, very lovely.
Until it turns into 90s hip-hop, which just made me want to commit crimes.
Yeah. Like, why?
Now, you may have noticed, dear listeners, that Trey and I have been saying nothing but bad things about this movie that everybody likes. I do want to emphasize, there are some really good elements in this movie. I think the idea is kind of cool. It does have a like, cool, like, general like idea.
Oh, yeah.
Some of the performances, at least most of them, are very well done.
Not bad at all.
And I do think that like the production design is generally very, very good, even if the CGI is terrible and the costume design is inconsistent.
Yeah.
Plus, all around the film is shot and edited decently. It's just the little things such as the story beats and the decisions that the characters make along the way.
Or what, drive it a little down.
Yeah. And also the inconsistent costuming and the bad CGI and Chris Tucker's very annoying performance. There's also a case of like underacting with the president. He doesn't do that. He doesn't do it in every scene, but like in good, like in some scenes he just kind of forgets to act.
He's just there. He's just a guy.
Exactly. So, the bad guys approach the gala, and would you believe it, Trey? They shoot the diva.
What? I would have never guessed.
Yeah, they shoot her, and the diva and Bruce Willis is like, "Hey, where are the stones? Where are they?" And she's like, "They're inside me." They were inside her the whole time. Like Bruce Willis digs into her bullet wound, and gets the stones. Don't know how she got them in there. Don't know why they were in there. Maybe the real stones were the divas we made along the way.
No.
And but things are getting bad because the big action scene happens and Gary Oldman put a bomb on the ship. He put a bomb on there, Trey.
Not a bomb.
Yes, a bomb. And he's going to blow up the ship. Or at least not, that's what he wants everybody to think. He's actually going to stop it so that, like, he can get the stones. He can get all the stones. And that he can get Libu. So that he can, unite the 5 elements and, destroy everything. Eventually, they get the stones. Our 4 guys of the priest, Bruce Willis, Libu, and Chris Tucker, they all leave the ship. Everyone gets evacuated. But this is a plot point we kind of forgot to mention. There's a bit of like a back and forth between Gary Oldman and this alien race that's doing all his dirty work.
Yeah.
And at the last minute, they pull out a bomb and say, "Hey, Gary Oldman, screw you," and he dies. And so our 4, they're flying to Egypt to unite these elements together in the right place from the beginning of the movie. However, the explosion caused a big asteroid to head towards Earth, and so they have to unite them as soon as possible so that they can destroy it.
Yeah.
And they end up doing it on time with their seconds to spare, but get this. You want to know what eventually causes it to get destroyed? What eventually causes all the elements to unite?
You think they're ready for it?
No, I don't think they're ready for it.
I don't know.
Let's give them a little build up. So it starts with them just fighting various elements. The actual elements, put them on the rocks. Good thing they had a match on them.
Oh yeah, thankfully.
But Libu is still passed out from everything that's happened with her, and what gets her going is true love's kiss saves the day.
Oh,
because apparently this really was a Disney movie the whole time. I knew there was a reason they made this. Technically,
there had to have been.
So. Yeah, Bruce Willis kisses her, and they kiss, and they love each other now, and it destroys the asteroid. The president makes them heroes, and while they're in their healing tanks, they end up doing the nasty, which, okay, you had 4 seconds to meet the president, and that's what you. And okay, so. Oh, we also get a bit of a cap off with the mother gag where Bruce Willis's mother keeps calling and he keeps ignoring her, and she's a very nagging mother. And that's the 5th element, everybody. I must admit, was not very impressed.
I will say, I was more impressed when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Mainly just because flying car.
Flying car is cool, but flying car does not make cool movie, Trey.
No, listen.
It does not.
I was a very impressionable child.
Yeah. And so was I, but I didn't watch this as a child. I'm 21, about to turn 22, and I didn't like this movie. It was not the best. I mean,
Yeah.
I understand why a lot of people like this movie, especially at the time.
Oh, yeah.
But I feel like the special effects in like the special editions of Star Wars, which were the same year, looked about on par with this, and those are famously awful effects. So
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, just the story all around is just very generic and bland. Like the effects, as we mentioned, are awful, and the characters are very, very underwritten. And as we mentioned many times before, the context of who the director is and the stuff you see, like we didn't even mention when Ruby Road was making out with this lady and she was like screaming and saying no. So that's not the funnest.
No. And to anyone who doesn't know,
We have pity.
yeah.
We pity you, but
pity
like,
you.
well, I feel like they do know now because I explained everything at the beginning where you weren't here. So
True. Yeah. But
So-
to anyone who still who still doesn't know, we pity you.
yeah. But anyway, Trey, final verdict. How would you rate The Fifth Element on a scale of First Element to Fifth Element? With First Element being a big old Pooh Bear and Fifth Element being a grand spanking castle.
I'd have to give it a 1.
A 1. Wow.
I'd have to give it a First Element.
Oh, I wouldn't go that low. There's definitely worse movies out there, but I feel like for like the praise this movie gets a lot, I just wasn't impressed, and I will be fine if I never watch this again. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it a 2.5. Again,
Okay.
There's worse movies out there, but everything I mentioned earlier doesn't help it.
No.
But anyway, guys, that will be it for this week's episode of the Happiest Cast on Earth. Trey, thank you so much for joining me here once again.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
All right. Do you have anything you'd like to plug?
Just the usual. Showbiz Trey on both Twitch and YouTube.
Alrighty. And you can check out the Happiest Cast on Earth on YouTube and Spotify. And please be sure to check out the new video on Weird TV where it's a compilation of some of my shorter editing portfolio things.
Ooh.
So, and please be sure to join us next week where we will not be doing an episode of the Happiest Cast on Earth, but as I mentioned in the trailer that should be posted by the time YouTube listeners are listening to this, which will be the first episode of the spin-off Mooncasting, a DreamWorks podcast on Transformers Revenge of the Fallen for the PlayStation 3, Wii, and Xbox. But until then, I will see you later. Bye!